I guess this is going to be kind of like a part 2, although this is going to be a more so different topic. I just had something happen that reminded me of something I seen. The Nova girl I mentioned before, not the Software and Underbelly one, but I guess I could say the Slab City one. It reminded me of something that she talked about, which of course is going to be a common, like every other day experience when you're doing more so just staying outside most of the time. But I remember she made a post somewhere, don't really remember where exactly what it was about, but she said something about pigs with torches and something. Pigs are the cops, the torches are bright flashlights that can honestly blind you. And she said something about being woken up by them on the beach. And it makes me think back to this post I seen, which honestly I think I'm back in one of those cycles where I talk a little too much. It's like I'm either too quiet or I'm saying just too much. But I seen a post somewhere on someone's page where they were talking about like how their life had got better. But I noticed that they were talking about how like they didn't trust the cops. They live in a good neighborhood now and the cops will stop in front of their house to play with their kids. First of all, I wouldn't trust that. Pretty much they have like that common narrative that only quote unquote black people, especially ones that have grown up in the hood, have like issues with cops. And it's like that couldn't be further from the truth. Like all the little racial shooting stuff from the Trayvon Martin thing to the what's that dude's name? George Floyd. All that stuff is staged and bullcrap to cause uproar. None of that stuff is real. That's all staged and a false flag. But what I really don't like cops for is for their role in traffic, and I probably sound kind of sick. And what else was it? Just other things they do, especially when it comes to the homeless hate and things like that. But what they do to youth or really any victims of any situation, always siding with the bad guys. Usual law official stuff. But that makes me think of, because it's like they have, or certain people have been made to believe this narrative that like it's just them that feel certain types of ways about certain people or certain things, and that's not true. Honestly, any cop that's stopping in front of your house to play with your kids, there's some manipulative thing behind that. But I'm thinking about this again though, because of something else I may have forgot to say in the videos where I talk about like if you get kicked out, run away, or you're just homeless for whatever reason. I may have forgot to say that one thing I learned is that after you get arrested the first time, or after somebody calls the police on you or starts talking about how they're tired of seeing you one time, after that one time, you got to go ahead and leave that city or county. That's something I learned, I don't even remember, but it was definitely a couple years ago. Because once the police hear about you once, or even once like just people around hear about you once, and they're calling the cops on you, they're not going to stop, and eventually it's going to get more and more dangerous and violent, and you're going to wish you would have left. And there goes the cops again. And that's kind of the funny thing though, that's something I've had to tell people about. People think that like you just have to worry about cops when you're laying low, and it's like, it's not even about that, because I mean, of course, everybody's not a missing person, and I mean, if you get far away enough, then that doesn't really matter anyways. It's more about the homeless hate cops wanting to arrest you because you're homeless, or they think you're homeless, or they just don't like the situation you're in, and they feel like whatever. And also know that if you are like under 18, you're just an easy target for them to lock up for being homeless. That's why they'll come after you. Not even really because they care about the legalities of it, the legalities are bullcrap. Because there's no difference between a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, or a 16-year-old, or whatever. But It's just that you're an easy target for them to lock up then. But still, like, as long as you're either homeless or you're just living a lifestyle that a lot of people don't agree with, so like you have a home base, but you still like camp a lot or you're like nomadic, a lot of people feel some type of way about that because they've been fed like a certain way you have to live and do things by the Matrix, which is really a prison. Like I've always liked outside, but even before I really was outside most of the time, I never understood how people could just like live their whole life sitting in four walls, scrolling on the phone or watching TV all day. It never made sense to me, and honestly, it's so depressing. That's why so many people are depressed. I also never understood how people could like be too scared for their kids to go outside, but they don't mind their kids sitting on the phone all day, wanting to like kill themselves or whatever I'm even able to say on here without this being flagged. It never really made that much sense to me. Well, it never made any sense because it doesn't make sense. It's like people are so made to believe that you should be scared of going anywhere or doing anything. You should just sit in the house all day. But I can definitely say though, with like the beast system unraveling, with Abbott and Allied being everywhere, where you're not being able to do anything without cops eventually harassing you to the point where you have to leave wherever you're at because you're just going to constantly get threats and be locked up and put in jail and charged with bullcrap. I do understand now why people rather just stay in the house all day. And honestly, it's torture. It's kind of like, it's really like all these different like security and law official organizations that work hand in hand but claim they don't. It's really like at this point, they're kind of like harassing and torturing people into like just hiding in their house all day. And like I always say, people see nothing wrong with it now because they say ICE is just for the illegals, or Abbott and Allied and the cops are just for homeless people and poor people and melanated people. When the beast system really unravels, it's not going to be good for anybody. And of course, America is going to be one of the most oppressive regimes ever as the destruction gets worse and worse. And people don't see it now. And honestly, I could get how, like, somebody who's in the house all day and doesn't go anywhere or do anything, I could get how they may not even be able to see it. Because like I said, I never heard of Abbott or Allied before being out here. And honestly, I don't really think it was, like, a thing like that. I mean, I know it existed, but it's definitely been getting worse and worse as the homeless issue gets worse and worse. Abbott, Allied, and all these different other organizations that are security companies get worse and worse. They hire more staff, more young pretty boys that think they're better than everybody, that are willing to beat up 90-year-old men. People like that. And it's not good for anybody. And like, I know some people say that like they're sometimes able to get rides from cops even across the country, and just like the cop will call in and call another cop to take them to the other county and then another county, which I mean I'm pretty sure it's really rare for them to do something like that. I wouldn't even trust something like that. I wouldn't even trust like being in a car with the cop for that long or really any amount of time. But some people have been able to do that when like cops are like, okay, we don't want you here, and then they'll just be like, well, if you don't want me here, then like, will you help me get somewhere else? Or they're able to help them get a Greyhound ticket or talk to homebound programs that act funny, which they're losing funding now, but they already didn't really use their funding for what they should, because like when people want homebound, the homebound programs always say, we want proof that you're going to stay with family or parents. And it's like, if somebody had that, they wouldn't be like out here anyways. But some people are able to get cops to talk homebound programs, and they're doing what they claim they do or should be doing. But I don't know. I guess that's only really for like people that the cops really want to do that for. Although I would say they probably get less out of that than they do out of just putting you in jail. it's probably not really worth it to most of them anyways. But I feel like that could be about, like, maybe how much they really like you. But I don't know. But man, because I've definitely been in one of those phases where, like, the cops are definitely, like, really they're looking for me and this one dude. But luckily, he, got a hotel room. I remember he was saying he was waiting for his job to go ahead and send him his check so he could go ahead and get a room. But yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is, at least with me, maybe it's like this with a lot of people. Once I get comfortable in the area, when I go to a new place, I like stay in that area for a while before I go somewhere else. Or like, I like going to libraries. I always have, so I just spend a lot of time there, but they definitely don't want me there and they're tired of seeing me. And the dude said even before, like, his mom died and all the different things happened after that and he became homeless, he still would come to the library even then, every now and then. And he still doesn't, he's not there that much. But I mean, like I said in the first video, really they're mad about some bullcrap with two white people that are on drugs and they're trying to project it onto us. That's something I've dealt with everywhere I've went. I've seen a lot of people have a lot of bad things done to them by cops and even like just other surrounding people that are like racist and stuff play these little weird projection games. But still, I'm trying to remember what I was even saying. I think I was saying that like the cops are looking for us. But that's the thing though. It's like they just came to me a couple times. The second time with like a couple cops. I was looking at the clouds and the stars, and let me tell you, I wasn't even out there for an hour. But I found this one good spot to do that at. I didn't think it would last that long though, so I wasn't going to be there that long. But that went how that went. And anyways, it's like they're driving around places looking for me. Or really like following me, I should say, really. But they're not like arresting me or putting me in jail, which I mean that's a good thing, but also I kind of feel like the harassment thing is also kind of annoying because it's like I don't want to go to jail, obviously. Well, really I don't want to get charged. That's the bigger issue because I know that I'm going to get a whole bunch of crazy charges slapped on me. So I don't want the charges, but like I don't want people to just be harassing me and like every time they see me they're just going places looking for me to try to follow me around, but while not saying anything to me, or maybe they do say something, maybe they don't, because that's annoying too. And it kind of makes me remember this feeling that I had like a long time ago, well, not that long ago, maybe like 2023, where I really started to feel like, I just still felt like really trapped, because it's like I like camping, and of course, I mean, I didn't really have any other options anyways, but I like the camping, I like travel life. I just always liked outside, but it feels like as these laws get tighter, you're really trapped in general. You're even trapped outside. It's like you can't really, I don't know, if you're just not doing things a certain way and living a certain way that people want you to live, or you just like, you're in some certain, I guess I could say lifestyle that people don't understand. I don't even really want to say that. It's just like, people are going to feel some type of way. And I'm talking about like individual people. But like, there's even more laws being pushed against it. Not that there weren't already. But I don't know. I know a lot of people aren't going to understand, but I feel like a lot of people aren't going to get how trapped we're all going to be once everything is said and done and the regime is set in place until it's set in place and it's too late. A lot of people aren't going to realize it. And like, I went through sleep deprivation abuse since I was 8, so like, if I am actually asleep somewhere, when like cops would come wake me up, like I remember this one time especially in Cali where they woke me up at like 3 a.m. and it's always like after I just got somewhere too, even if I'm not even sleeping, I'm just like sitting somewhere, whatever. It's always when I just got there. But like even that, shining a flashlight in my face with like their hand on their gun asking me, you really don't have anywhere to go at 3 a.m. This was this specific situation was like, maybe this was like early 2024 or mid 2024, I don't know, but stuff like that is really triggering me and emotional flashbacky just because of the fact that I went through sleep deprivation abuse since 8. So it's like, I just don't like anything or anyone like waking me up and all that, which I sleep really light due to different things, so I can't really have someone sneak up on me, which that's the thing though. So if cops do sneak up on me somehow, because like if a pin drops, I wake up. So it's like if they really do, then they really try to be funny. But I guess like, I don't know, it's still kind of more so my fault for getting stuck here. But it's still like the point I'm making is that it is starting to feel more and more like if you're not like really in the woods camping all the time, if you spend too much time in the city and too many people see you too much that feel some type of way about you and have assumptions about who you are, what you're doing, and because I mean pretty much, especially in places like this, how people feel when they see me is I'm not with my parents, I'm doing stuff I shouldn't be. That's the moral. And like the guy I mentioned earlier in part 1 said, he has a job. He goes to work every day. He was going to that library even before his mom died and before he became homeless in however many months ago or whatever. So the fact that they're now acting like, I don't know, just the fact that they're now acting funny is just obviously making him mad. Then also the fact that like some lady who does like medical lab work, transportation, and who works at the medical place sometimes that's beside the library, he told me that she told him that the library was talking about banning me, which is really funny. But I still don't like that though. That's something else that I realized too, being in like these types of situations, I guess I could say. I mean, I kind of learned this when I was in the Cash for Kids system, because really what this is an abuse tactic called triangulation. That's what it's actually called. But I even learned then that like people will play these weird games where because they're scared of you or they're just like, I don't know, funny and weird or whatever, they won't say anything to you, but they'll get somebody else to tell you. So like in situations I've noticed, when people like don't want me in their stores, or they don't want me in their towns, or they don't want me around or walking down the sidewalk or whatever, instead of just coming to me and telling me that, they'll call the cops and get them to tell me and threaten me and all that stuff that they do. Or they'll tell somebody else, some random person that barely even knows me or probably really doesn't, and they'll just tell that person and get them to tell me. Or they'll just tell that person, and the person like this dude will be nice enough to tell me. Because it's like, if they're talking about banning me, why would you tell him but not tell me? And also it's weird that they told the people at the medical place, but of course stuff is spreading. But I mean, that's what happens when you're in the area too long and like people just see you too much and they make a lot of assumptions about who you are and what you're doing. Because I mean, I don't sleep over there anyway, so honestly, people walk through there and some people come there at night to use the Wi-Fi, but nobody's really sleeping there. I mean, even those two white people that are on that all that stuff and they're like trying to project bullcrap onto me and that dude behind them, they're not even really there that much. They're there every now and then, and when they do go, it seems like it's really just to use the bathroom everywhere, and then they leave. Then they get on the bus and go wherever they go. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if they're really homeless for real. But, yeah. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, but anyways, I think I was getting to the point that, that dude says he works a job. He goes in there every day with his badge on and his work shirt and all that. He's not even there that long. He goes there for like, he's there in the morning. He gets a ride to work or rides the bus or walks. And then he sits there during the daytime until it gets cool out. And then he leaves and he goes to the hotel room, or he stays wherever. But he was saying all the games that they're playing around him and just the different assumptions that they want to make, really, which is a lot of projection, because they've gotten even weirder since, like, really they've gotten weirder since the maintenance dude cleaned up behind those two people that use the bathroom everywhere. Because actually this dude told me before that these people use the bathroom everywhere and they'll come there and use the bathroom. And honestly, I didn't really believe him. I'm not even gonna lie. I hadn't seen them before till recently. And they were even laying out there outside the library in like broad daylight while they were open. And then eventually they got up and left and sat beside the grocery store. Well, sat in front of the grocery store. But it's like if I was to lay outside of somewhere in broad daylight, or even sit outside of somewhere for 2 seconds in broad daylight, I would have the cops called on me. And it's a lot of assumption, because it's not like I'm dirty or anything. So it's really what it is. It's not even about people thinking I'm in like some type of situation. It's really about people at least feeling like I don't have anybody, knowing that they could do and say whatever. That's what it's really about. But yeah, anyways, the guy was like, he goes to work just like they do, and he doesn't like them like trying to treat him funny, especially because he's been coming there every now and then. So it's like now they're acting weird, and they've definitely gotten weirder since I've been coming around there. And then what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, he was like, he's already mad because of his mom died and the situations around how she died. And he said he's just getting too mad. He already said he's going to report them to his nephew, that's their supervisor for at least the security guards around there. But he said that when his bigger checks start coming in, it really already now, he's done really coming around there because they're just playing too many games. And he's tired of the assumptions and the weird stuff, and how like now, because they really don't want us at the library and they want to ban us, but they don't really have a reason to. So now they're like getting the police involved, and that's really the real reason that police are doing all the stuff that they're doing right now. Because there aren't even like that many homeless people or supposedly homeless people around here. So yeah, but he said he's done even coming around, and he can't take all that stuff. He gets too mad for all that. And he said I may be able to keep quiet, but I mean, for one, as somebody who's like been in the human cash cow systems and all the manipulation they do where they try to convince you you're the bad, crazy, retarded one to create an issue that's not there, but also to try to make you feel like it's your fault that you're being essayed and drugged and all the other abuse that they take you through. I've learned that the only option really is to gray rock, because people are just going to pretend that you're the bad, crazy, and slow one like people love to do when they're in the wrong and they're terrorizing people. I've learned that there's really no point in arguing with anybody about anything, because they're just going to, especially if there's somebody that, what did that lady tell me when I was in the Jim Crow placement? Never argue with people that have the ability to ruin your life. Although the unfortunate thing is that gray rocking / stonewalling method can worsen an abuse situation, or like, I don't know, a torture tactic situation where people are just doing too much. But I mean, I do say some stuff that still makes them try to act like I'm the bad guy, but I mean, they're gonna act like I'm the bad guy anyways. That's how society works and the caste system works. For somebody to be above, they have to put somebody below them, which can even revolve around a lot of assumptions. But I mean, from what I've seen, cops are only nice to anybody if they like want to essay you, or they think that you're like hot and they think they're gonna get to date you or whatever. Other than that, it's pretty much whatever. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, the point I was supposed to be getting at though is that that's another reason why people end up losing their mind, especially when they can't get out of the situation. Which, like I already said, I wouldn't even consider myself in a situation. I would consider myself off and on nomadic, I guess I could say, off and on camping. But for people who really are like in a situation, I guess I could say,